Good morning and welcome to the meeting of the George River Local Traffic Advisory Committee. I declare the meeting open at 10:02 a.m. The council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which this meeting is being held as that of the Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation. Apologies.
George Pavlaris and Fernando Rios, Hamish as well from the bus services.
I advise staff and public that the meeting is being recorded for minute taking purposes. The order of business is as shown in the agenda and has been made available. Code of meeting practice prohibits the electronic recording of meetings without the express permission of council. Phones must be turned to silent during the meeting. Any disclosures of interest?
No disclosure of interest.
No public speakers.
No public speakers.
Can I get a mover to confirm the minutes of the last meeting?
Jesse.
Jesse and Brian.
Of the video was there.
Thank you. Okay, so as usual, at this stage of the meeting, the time being 10:03, I hereby advise that the meeting will move into a closed session to allow consideration of the matters of the agenda. Accordingly, members of the press and public are excluded from the closed session. I ask the senior traffic engineer and transport if any representation has been received from the public that the item should not be disclosed in, should not be discussed in closed session.
No representations from the public.
So as there are no members in the gallery, I'll ask that the live stream be ceased. Okay, leave the doors open, please. And I'll call for a motion to confirm the recommendations from the closed session. Moved by
Jesse.
seconded by RMS. Excellent. Put their hand up really quickly there. Well done. Any general business to discuss?
I got nothing.
Nope. All done. Alrighty. I'll call the meeting closed at,
Just before that, general business.
I said that already.
Oh.
And never I said no.
Yes, we have one.
Sorry, just one particular issue. Just around the extension of the 40k zones, Princess Highway and Grey Street. Just wanted to show you quickly what we're talking about.
Is this Conqueror?
Yeah, in Cockerell. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Catholic Primary School is located here. The existing,
There's a cluster of schools, so you've got St. Moorfield Girls and James Cook on the Bayside side, the Princess Highway.
the existing school zone only runs to this section, and vice versa inside Chapel Street as well. There has been request to extend that school zone up towards the intersection of Grey Street. Is there a possibility of extending that school zone further
Is there
and
a
touching
reason?
that intersection?
Is there a reason?
Due to the congestion, traffic speeds, the number of
Number of students crossing the road as well. At the moment, I think the teachers and parents walk the kids over the other side of the highway. Yeah, and there's about 220 kids, 2,200 kids all in that school cluster.
And there are no crossings further up.
there's no crossings till this section here on the corner of Princess Highway and Grey Street.
The closest crossings all the way further up there.
So at the moment, there's a sign about 50 metres past the intersection notifying people that there's a school zone coming up. So even the potential just to, rather than notifying straight after the crossing, if we notified before, we just extended that whole area just so it's not as confusing. But people walking and
Look, the general, the general stance on school zones, and this is as per the, like, the guidelines that we have, is that school zones are only really made for the access points, so wherever school kids are just coming out onto the, onto the roads. Not so much for routes to school, because if we start covering routes to school, then, they're crossing here, there, and everywhere. You start extending, it gets longer. People on on any road start getting more and more frustrated, etc., and they start speeding, going against the school zones anyway. So that's our general, rule, but because obviously, look, it's not my area. I just suggest maybe put an email to Shah, and then if he has any, I don't know, any other plans or anything, but that's
Where did
the,
the
but look,
request come from?
One of the councillors had been looking at it, and I just said I'd bring it up in general business and say that it's something that, and we have been talking to Transport about a lot of the intersections along the Princess Highway, but we understand that there's a bit of a lack of funding around actually investigating those in a lot of detail. So where we can do some simple interventions like extending a school zone, we'd really like to try and pursue that in
I
certain
still have to
areas.
work out what it's designed to solve.
It's just to reduce the amount of speed and improve the
Sorry?
reduce the speed of vehicles, because the Princess Highway is, I think, 60 or 70 Ks
Yeah.
up to that school zone.
Yeah.
And if the kids are walking down to that crossing intersection, we want to improve the slow vehicles down before the kids cross.
Otherwise, school times,
Yeah, just.
nobody goes 60, everybody goes 30 anyhow.
Well, the school zone only, that kicks in about 50 metres down the road. So we're not asking for a big extension, it would just be to the intersection anyway. So rather than just having people go through the intersection and then having to hit their brakes, it'll just be at the front of the intersection. So people will be slowing down into it rather than going through where the school kids cross the road. It would happen a bit earlier.
I understand the theory.
Yeah. No.
There's a lot of kids coming out of Chapel Street as well, a lot of parents picking up their kids at the back of the school. And there's a number of kids who come out through Princess Highway as well to get to the other side. So a lot of vehicles do travel down Grey Street, and if we can extend the school zone, then that will help slow down the number of vehicles, especially with 2,000 kids also walking.
So 2,200 kids, have you done the numbers to see how many travel down that 50 odd metres?
Not directly. No.
So what are you asking for?
Extension of the 40 Ks.
What, about
Even
50
though we don't
metres?
have an actual written request.
Just as part of general business, we'll put one through to Transport and see
Yeah,
what they
we'll see
say.
what Sean
But
says.
yes, just this came through last week, so we just thought we'd bring it up as part of general business,
Yeah.
as part of the discussion. We know whether or not they've given a chance, so we're not wasting our time. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna say
There's
no,
enough
yes,
traffic
but
and
yes,
stuff.
just, yeah.
So what we would do now is only a approval to investigate it.
So it'll just be noted in general business and we'll just do, like we do.
So it's not an extension.
No,
it's-
No.
We'll just go to Transport, we'll have a conversation.
See what Transport says,
See what
and then
they
it-
say.
Then it'll come back
Yeah.
as an item on our agenda.
Because the 40 K doesn't form council.
We can't do anything
Yeah,
about it apart from advocating.
Yeah.
Just while I think of it on general business, any indication as to when the pedestrian crossings around Mortdale are going to be painted?
Yes, at the completion of all the work, so there has been temporary line marking put on top.
Yeah.
And additional signage being placed out around each crossing as well. That was meant to be completed at the end of March. There might have been a week or two delay from the rain.
Okay, just so I check, it was just something that came up in the office and we had a couple of people come into the office asking about it, so I just thought I'd check.
We had 2 crossings line marked already.
Yeah, there's a couple there, there's just a couple of new ones that,
The new
yeah,
ones, yeah, so that will all be done at the completion of the construction. I
Cool.
think they're just trying to finish off that one curb line. And once that's completed, then they can get everything primed up, because we want to get the whole section middle and pathways all done at the same time as well.
cool, that's good, thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.
All righty. Call the meeting closed at 10:55. Oh, 10:50, sorry. Thanks for everyone attending.